Well, good morning and welcome back to another episode of Southern Boy Farm, Backyard Farm to Table. I'm Kelvin, and now that I have coffee, it's time to make my breakfast. Okay, so today I'm going to make bacalao. Now, bacalao is also just salted fish, okay? Usually codfish, but since I work for a living, and the price of fish has gone up quite dramatically for cod, I'm using salted pollock, which is another white fish that's very, very good. All right, so with that this morning, because I've had 4 racks of bananas harvested so far for 2021, and I've talked about boiled green banana. That's what I'm going to eat it with this morning. I love boiled green banana. So let's get started. The salted cod is just that, salted. And like I said, I'm using pollock. But if you look, it's just fish that they preserve using heavy amounts of salt. And most of the time when I buy it in the store, its expiration date is like 1.5 to 2 years later, and all it has to do is just be kept refrigerated. That's it. Clean, easy, ready to go. But that salt can be really extreme. So what I always do is I take and I rinse off the excess salt under cold water. Then I put it in a pot of cold water. That way, the amount of time that it takes to come up to a boil helps to leach out more of that salt. And then I let it come to a boil, and then I'm ready to go. So I've already done that because you ain't got time to be sitting there watching water boil. You know how that goes. So it's ready now. I'm going to go ahead and just scoop it out. And we'll just set this to the side. So I'm going to use this same water now to go ahead and boil my green bananas. So what you want to do is just cut off the ends. And I'm doing 5 because ain't nobody got time to be boiling a banana every single time you want to use one. And it becomes very easy to store. I just store it in water. A bowl full of water that at least covers it, and that keeps it from oxidizing or turning black while it's inside the refrigerator. And usually I can let that go for about 3 to 5 days before it starts getting too mushy to be eaten. Now these bananas came off of, like I said, rack number 4 for the year, which came in at 62 pounds, so that's a lot of bananas. And then I take and I put 1 split down the middle. And that just allows the heat to get in, and it'll definitely make your life a lot easier when it comes time to peel these while they're hot. Now, there is a difference between a green banana and a green plankton. This is a green plantain. This is a green banana. And as you can see, the plantain is much, much bigger than the banana. But this I'm going to use for my dinner, which I'll do on a video where I'm going to make some shrimp mofongo. Super easy to make. I don't know why people don't make it more often. I guess because it sounds exotic, people don't want to do it. Like when you hear the word things, people say it's bacalao. Salted fish. Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to use my same salted water from the cod, because now, unlike plantains, plantains don't really go sweet until they're like past their yellow stage and they begin to brown, because they have a very high starch content. These bananas will turn yellow, and it's the exact same banana which you would put in your cereal or pancakes or just eat plain. They don't have to be cooked at all. They're sweet. And because of that sweetness, even when green, there's a bit of sweetness, I like to have the salt to make it savory. So I'm just gonna take and put them in there. And I may have to add some more water, we'll see, because I want them to be covered. And I'll bring that over so you can see. But now they're covered, and I'm going to bring this up to a boil. So turn that on high and let it go. Now, as it cooks, you'll see it will oxidize right there inside of the peel. It'll begin to turn brown, then it'll go black. It's done. Okay, so for the other pan, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make up our base, or the flavoring, if you will, for our bacalao. So for that, I've got some cut up sweet bell peppers, some chopped up garlic, some sliced red onion, and some sliced green onion, or scallions, if you will. I've got some chopped up cilantro, which I'm going to add at the end, and some diced up tomatoes. And if you don't want to use whole tomatoes, then you can go ahead and you can use the tomato paste. Just, you're going to need to add some water to it, or you can use a tomato sauce. You can use diced tomatoes in the can, whatever you want, but you want to have some type of a tomato base to it. It's the way I was taught. That's the way I know. That's the way it should be done. Now, remember though, before you go and you make your comments down there, which I love, and I love to learn the authentic way of doing things, just know that this is my bacalao. There are many like it, but this one is mine. One of my favorite lines. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going about 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan, and we're going to put that on a medium heat. Okay. Get that all around in the pan. Now, so as not to waste time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break up my fish. And you can make it as big and chunky or as broken up and flaky as you want. Do a little taste test, see how much salt is still left in it. That's a good amount. And so if you notice, I didn't mention any salt or pepper inside there. I tend to put some red pepper flakes on mine when I'm all done, but just in case mom wants to have some for herself, I'm not going to put any heat in it right now. All right, oil should be about ready, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in what I call the base. Just set all of that inside there. You can begin to hear the sizzle. And we're going to let that go for about 2 to 3 minutes. And that will allow the flavor from the juices inside of those vegetables to begin to come out and permeate the oil, and that way the flavors are a lot more intense for this process. You will not regret it. Also, we call this step sweating the vegetables. Break up the onion. Now, if you're not a big fan of onion, just go ahead and use some diced onion. My mom likes to use the dehydrated onions, but please do at least put in, if nothing else, some onion powder, just so you have all of the flavors inside there. Now, bananas are beginning to come up to a boil, which is nice. So everything should come right off the stove at about the same time, which is exactly how you want to be every single time you cook. That way, nothing gets cold while everything else is being cooked. Now, in a lot of cultures, bacalao is made with various ingredients, and I know for the times when I've had it in a Puerto Rican home or restaurant, there have been olives added to it. In Dominican household, I've seen potatoes added to it. I've seen people add yellow yam to it. They add yuca to it. You can have whatever you want. I tend to eat bacalao for breakfast, but a lot of people eat it for dinner. So it's all in your taste and for your enjoyability. Okay, so now we've sweated. That smells good. Anytime you start sauteing up some onions, garlic, peppers, the smell is phenomenal. Only thing to kind of top that off would be to have some ginger in there, but that's for another meal. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in the tomatoes. And I don't de-seed them because I do want all of that juice to come out. So my tomatoes are beginning to cook, but I'm noticing that for my purposes, it's a little too dry. So I'm going to add in some water, but I'm going to use the water that I used to boil the bacalao and also to boil the banana. All right, just a little water there. Cool. We'll wait for the tomato to soften a bit. Oh my gosh, this tastes. Well, it will taste. I haven't tasted it, but I'm sure, knowing me, it's going to taste good. All right, so now I'm going to add in the fish. again, for my purposes, I'm going to add in some more liquid. And I'm going to let this marinate all together so the vegetables taste like fish and the fish tastes like the vegetables and everything is happily married together. Now I want to show you the banana. Not fully done yet, but as you can see, well, for one, the water is milky, and that's from the banana itself. But the color of the skin has started to change to a nice darkness. We're gonna let this go just a little bit more. I'm gonna put a lid on it to speed it up. Now I was going to serve this up on a plate, but now that I see all this goody juice inside here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get myself a bowl. But you don't have to just sit there and watch me look at a pot also. I'm just going to time lapse this. My bacalao is ready. So we get that off the stove. Look at all those beautiful colors. Let me do a little taste test. Even though I'm pretty sure there's enough salt in this, just want to be sure. That's good. Hurry up, bananas. All right. The bananas are ready. Turn that off. Scoop them into this bowl here. Now, I'm not going to eat all these bananas. I usually eat about 2 at a time. See the color of that now? It was a bright green and now it's a dull green, almost blackish looking. All right, so now let's get these peeled. Or at least 2 so I can have breakfast. Now, these are hot. You might want to let them cool off. But not me, because I was hard-headed like that. Whew. Plus, I'm starving. Okay, I'm gonna let them cool. And we'll be back. All right, so now I've peeled 2 of them. And they're cool enough now that I can go ahead, touch them and plate it up. Let's get a spoon here. cilantro. Now, if you don't like cilantro, I would suggest you take and you put some cumin seasoning inside of your dish. But I love cilantro. Actually, I like most foods, which allows me to be a good cook. And there you have it. My version of bacalao with boiled green bananas. All right, so I hope that you'll take the time to maybe explore if you've never tried it before and give it a try. Because remember, if you don't try it, how do you know you don't like it? All right, so love yourself, love those around you. Both of them cost you absolutely nothing. And until next time, we'll see you again right here at Southern Boy Farm, Backyard Farm to Table. Bye.